Hey friends, and welcome back to Sunshine and Serenity. And today it's seed starting time. So I am a little bit behind on seed starting this year because we just recently moved to our new property. So if you haven't seen the video for our dreams and vision for our new property, our very first homestead, check out that video. It is on the channel below. It'll kind of give you an overview of what we have planned and the really exciting things that are coming. So we're so excited to share all that with you. So I am starting my seeds a little bit later than I usually would, but for me, I figure better late than never, and it's a little more cost effective for me, or cost efficient rather, for me to actually try to start some of my own, like my tomatoes and peppers, and hope that they all come up and that they all become really strong seedlings versus having to buy all of my tomatoes and peppers this year as starts, because that adds up super quick, especially with the amount of tomatoes that we want to grow this year in our in-ground garden. So I am starting my peppers, my tomatoes, my herbs, some flowers, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and start today, and I thought I would take you along on that journey. I also have to separate some aloe plants, so you'll be seeing some footage of that too. So first of all, I am going to go over what exactly I have chosen for my tomatoes and peppers this year and why, and also some of the other things I'm going to grow that I won't necessarily start today, but that I will direct seed in my garden. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. We are so excited and so happy that you have decided to join us and follow along with our story. If you'll take a moment and hit that like and subscribe button, it would greatly help our channel grow, and we would appreciate it. It would help us be able to share our story with more people. If you are a regular viewer, welcome back. We are excited that you have decided to join us yet again for another video, and we are so appreciative of all of your support. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get into what I'm going to be starting today. So first we're going to start with my tomatoes, because those seem to be the biggest category, because we go through a ton of tomatoes. We love tomatoes in our household. We use them for a lot of different things, sauces, canned tomato salsas, like you name it. We are tomato heavy in our house. So that is the majority of what I am starting today, along with a few pepper varieties and some herbs. So I'm going to get into which varieties I have chosen to grow this year. Now, in years past, I've grown more varieties because I have focused more on just trying new things, seeing what we like, what we don't like. But this year we are really trying to focus on production and upping our tomato production. So I've chosen some indeterminate varieties, but I've also chosen a lot more determinate varieties this year, just because we can grow them in ground and they can bush out, and we don't have to worry about pruning them down to a single stalk like we do our indeterminates, and we don't have to really worry about like a long cattle support like we do for the indeterminates. So we are still planning on doing a row of indeterminate tomatoes, but we were going to try to do a lot more determinate varieties this year. Okay, so the first one that I'm growing this year is Bonnie's Best. And I had not grown this, but this is one of those tomatoes that's kind of a tried and true for a lot of people. So I've decided to grow that one this year. And then cherry tomatoes, you won't see me growing a lot of cherry tomatoes because we grew so many last year that we just were overrun with them. And aside from like one or two varieties, we really didn't care for them very much. So I will grow a couple because my son really likes cherry tomatoes, and so I'm going to grow a couple for that reason. But we are trying to focus on a lot more like tomatoes for processing. But I'm growing just a large red cherry, so we're going to grow that cherry tomato. And then the other cherry tomato that I have that we are going to grow is, let me find it. They're all kind of mixed up. I thought I had them together, but I guess I didn't. Oh, well, I'll tell you when I come across it, because I don't know where it is right now. Another one I'm growing this year for an indeterminate is the Dr. Witches or Dr. Weiches yellow. This was my favorite tomato that I grew up. All my tomatoes last year, this was my favorite. So I am definitely growing that again. Another one that was my second favorite was the Brad's Atomic Grape tomato, and I actually don't have any seeds for that. I ordered some today, so I'm going to try to start a couple of those because we really enjoyed those as well. Another variety that I'm going to grow is the triple crop tomato. Now this one I tried to grow last year and it didn't make it for me, but I'm going to try again this year because I've had several people give rave reviews about this tomato and its production. So I'm going to give that another go. Another one that we like pretty well is the Kellogg's Breakfast tomato. So we're going to grow that one. Another one is, which you can't really see it right here, but it's the Cherokee Purple tomato. That's another tomato that we really enjoy. It grows really well for us. And then one that I'm going to try is the Thornburns Terracotta tomato. I didn't get a chance to try this last year, but I'm going to try it this year. Another one is the Berkeley Tie-Dye Pink. We really like this tomato. It's really beautiful on the vine in the garden, so we're going to grow that one. The Abe Lincoln tomato. This is another one that I grew last year and it didn't... I ended up not getting anything from it. We had some pretty crazy weather last year, so I'm going to try it again this year. And of course, since I live in Arkansas, Central Arkansas, Zone 7, I have to grow the Arkansas Traveler tomato, so we got to grow that one, right? Another one I'm going to be growing is the German Johnson tomato. We're also going to grow the Paul Robeson tomato. I am going to grow the Brandywine Black. Now, I have heard mixed reviews on Brandywine tomatoes. I've heard they're more susceptible to disease in my area, so I'm only going to probably grow like one plant of that and just see how it does. If it's too susceptible to disease, then I probably won't grow it in the future, just because we deal with that enough as it is anyways. So, but I'm going to try it. And then I'm going to do a classic beefsteak tomato. Okay, now these are a couple of the smaller tomato varieties, and I can actually grow these in pots, so that's probably what I'm going to do. But the first one is the Tiny Tim tomato. This one was my son's favorite last year, so I'm going to grow it again. It's that Gold Nugget tomato, so he really liked those yellow cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to grow those again. And then this is a new one I'm going to try. It's a patio pot tomato. It's called the Geranium Kiss, so I'm going to try that one. So now I've got a couple of paste tomatoes. I've got the San Marzano paste. I've also got the Amish paste, and I also ordered a couple other different paste tomatoes. We're going to grow those. I am doing the Early Cascade tomato. This is a determinate variety. Silvery Fir Tree, which is also determinate, and then just your bush steak tomato. So those are all the tomatoes that we're gonna grow this year. I did order a couple more varieties that were determinate type variety tomato seeds that I should get in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna try to start those. They may just go in the ground a little later than the other ones, so it may be one of those where, like, as one tomato is like finishing up, this one can maybe go back in the ground. We'll see. But if not, then I'll be able to have them for next year. Okay, so now our pepper varieties. Now I didn't get a ton of pepper varieties out just because we don't eat a ton of peppers, but I do like to use them in cooking, and I do like to use them for like freezing and salsas and things like that. But we came up with several varieties, but it's not as many varieties as I would grow in years past. So the first one is the Purple Beauty Pepper, so just your typical bell. I like having bell peppers in all colors. And then the Banana Sweet Pepper. And then the Cubanelle Sweet Pepper. And then I'm growing the Ozark Giant Pepper. I'm going to be growing the Chocolate Bell Pepper, so Chocolate Bell. A Big Sweet Red Bell. Of course, I've got to grow a jalapeno for my salsas. Then I'm growing cayenne peppers, some just green bell peppers, and then another bell color mix. So those are the peppers that I'm going to be growing this year. And then I'll just go over some of the other stuff that we're going to be growing real quick this year. I may not be starting them today, but we'll go ahead and go over them. The Sugar Baby Watermelon, so I'm going to be doing those this year. Okra, we love okra, so we have several okra varieties. We have the Texas Hill Country okra, which is my favorite for frying. Then this one I tried for the first time last year, the Heavy Hitter okra from Baker Creek, and it actually did really, really well. So I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna grow that again. The Red Burgundy okra, and your normal Clemson spineless okra. So those are the okra varieties that I'm growing. This year for my squash varieties, I'm not doing a typical summer zucchini and squash planting because we get real bad squash bugs in this area, and I would rather focus my attention on winter squashes and things that the squashes that I can use that have like a multi-purpose. So I am going to grow the Tromboncino squash. I don't have seeds for that here, but I ordered some more seeds. That was my favorite squash by far. Like, I liked that squash even more than yellow summer squash. And what's great about it is you can use it as a fresh eating squash, or you can use it as a winter squash. You can let it cure and use it as a winter squash. So I really enjoyed that variety, and it was a lot more resistant to the vine borers that I deal with every year and the squash bugs. So it actually outlasted all of my other squash plants before they finally succumbed to the vine borers, but it was a lot more resistant. Okay. So I got that one, and I'm doing your typical butternut squash. I'm doing a delicata winter squash. I'm doing a sweet winter dumpling squash. And all of these I'm actually going to grow in grow bags and let them trellis out into parts of the yard that's not the in-ground garden space. So that way I'm not using up the in-ground garden space to grow those things, and I can just strategically place those like in other parts of the yard, like the front yard to grow, or wherever that I can't really dig in, but then it gives it plenty of space to grow in. And then I'm also doing the honey nuts squash. I don't have seeds for those yet. I'm getting those in soon. Okay, so cucumber. I'm only growing one cucumber because we don't eat a ton of pickles, and we prefer the fridge pickles. If you checked out my video, 5 things that I will and will not can again, I had the controversial pickle thing on there. I will not can any more pickles, and that is solely for the purpose that they just did not turn out well. So we like fridge pickles. So because of that, this is our favorite, the Armenian cucumber, which it's actually a melon. So you can eat it like cucumber. You can let it get bigger and eat it like a melon. But these are by far the most productive, and you get more for your space. So that is the only cucumber that I am growing this year. Okay, and then now to get into all of our herbs. And this isn't all of them that I'm going to be growing, but it's a good majority of what I'm going to start soon. And then of course we're going to do beans and all of that stuff, but that I haven't pulled out yet. But I've got the Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. I've got your thyme. I've got all kinds of basils here, so all kinds of different basils. We love basil. Cumin, oregano, holy basil, lime basil, purple basil, blue spice basil, opal basil, lemon basil, so all the basils. Echinacea, parsley, marjoram, cilantro, and some more basil. So that's a good majority of what I pulled to start today, and yeah, so that's kind of what we're growing this year. Add to that things like your beans. I'm growing bush beans, and I'm going to grow probably some pole beans and just your typical garden things like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's going in the garden this year, and I am going to get started on planting, and I'm going to give you guys a montage of me doing this planting, and just wanted to bring you guys on the journey, let y'all know what's going on here for starting seeds and what we're getting ready for garden seasoning just around the corner. And I just wanted to share with y'all. So if you have any of these any of these seeds that I mentioned that are your favorites, drop them in the comment below. If there's something that I didn't mention that you think that I would like to grow that is one of your favorites, drop that in the comment also and let me know, because I am always up for trying new varieties, trying new things. I think that's the fun part of gardening, is you get to experiment and grow new things, right? That's why we garden, right? We grow things that you can't necessarily get in the grocery stores, and that just kind of helps us, encourage us to keep on going when we feel like giving up, right? Because we're growing things that you can't just necessarily walk down to Walmart and get, right? So anyways, thanks for joining me. If you will hit that like and subscribe button, drop a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know your favorite varieties to grow. Let me know what you're growing in the garden this year, what you've started, or if you're starting seeds. And I will see you guys next time, friends. Bye.